Chapter 11, Echoes of Tradition. Holly, Jack, and Evergreen rushed along the snow-kissed avenues of Merry Hollow, their boots crushing the newly fallen flakes. The Merry Hollow Historical Society towered ahead, its charming facade concealing the mysteries hidden inside. Evergreen led them inside, the musty scent of old books and preserved artifacts filling their nostrils, intermingled with the faint aroma of peppermint and pine. The creaky wooden floorboards groaned under their feet, each step echoing the weight of history that permeated the Merry Hollow Historical Society. Display cases lined the walls, each one a window into Merry Hollow's storied past, illuminated by the soft glow of antique lanterns that cast dancing shadows on the worn floor. Jack ran his fingers along the cool glass of the displays, his gaze lingering on a faded photograph of a group of carolers from decades past, their smiles frozen in time, their song sheets yellowed with age. A sense of reverence filled the air, as if the very building whispered tales of a bygone era, its aged timbers creaking and sighing like an old storyteller settling into a familiar narrative. "Over here," Evergreen called, his voice hushed yet urgent, beckoning them towards a large mural depicting the town's founding. The painting sprawled across the wall, a tapestry of colors that told the story of Merry Hollow's beginnings, from the first snowfall to the raising of the enchanted Christmas tree. Holly squinted at the intricate details, her eyes drawn to a series of strange symbols etched into the bottom corner, almost hidden within the swirls of paint. The symbols seemed to shimmer slightly, as if imbued with their own subtle magic, inviting closer inspection. Each one appeared to pulse with a faint glow, hinting at secrets buried deep within the town's history. Evergreen noticed her interest and stepped closer, his breath misting slightly in the cool air of the old building. "Those are part of the first puzzle," he explained, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the very walls might be listening, their ancient wood panels echoing with the ghosts of conversations past. "Each one represents a different element of Merry Hollow's history. We need to solve them to uncover the truth about the enchanted ornament exchange and the secrets our founders hid." They set to work, their minds racing as they deciphered each symbol's meaning, the air filled with the soft scratching of pencil on paper and the occasional murmur of discovery. With each puzzle solved, a new piece of the mural slid aside with a satisfying click, revealing a hidden compartment behind it. Inside rested ancient artifacts, each one imbued with holiday magic that hummed softly in the air, their enchantments resonating like a faint, harmonious choir. There was a wreath that never wilted, its leaves eternally green and glossy, seeming to defy the passage of time, a nutcracker that danced on its own, its movements eerily lifelike, its painted eyes seeming to follow their every move with an uncanny intelligence, a music box that played a never-ending carol, its melody filling the air with a haunting sweetness that seemed to resonate with their very souls, stirring memories of holidays past and the warmth of shared joy. A tiny gingerbread house stood nearby, its frosting details intricate and lifelike, emitting a scent of freshly baked cookies that filled the room with a comforting, familiar warmth. At the center of the collection, encased in a dusty glass dome, sat the original snow globe that had birthed Merry Hollow. Its crystalline flakes swirled gently, catching the light in a mesmerizing dance that cast tiny, glittering rainbows on the walls, as if the very essence of winter was captured within its delicate confines. And within its heart, a fragment of the celestial star pulsed with a warm, inviting glow, casting a soft luminescence on their faces, the light seeming to throb in time with their own heartbeats, drawing them in with its enchanting allure. "The tradition fragment," Holly breathed, her fingers tracing the outline of the snow globe in awe. The glass felt cool to her touch, a stark contrast to the warmth radiating from the fragment within. She could almost feel the power of the artifact, the weight of its history and the magic it held, as if it were alive and resonating with her very being, its energy pulsing through her like the rhythm of an ancient song. Beside her, the air grew colder, a sign of Jack's presence as he leaned in, his breath visible in the chill. Jack reached out, his touch causing the glass to dissipate into shimmering mist, as if the very barrier between them and the magic had been broken. As he grasped the fragment, a deep, resonant hum echoed through the room, vibrating through their very bones, the sound seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The artifacts around them began to stir, the wreath unfurling its verdant tendrils like a living entity, reaching out as if to ensnare them, the nutcracker springing to life with a menacing clack of its jaw, its painted eyes now gleaming with an unsettling intelligence, its movements swift and purposeful, and the music box's melody growing louder and more insistent, the sweet notes now tinged with a sense of urgency and danger, as if the very air was alive with a restless, uncontrolled magic. The tiny gingerbread house began to tremble, its frosting details shifting and changing, as if the very structure was trying to warn them of the magic's unpredictable nature. "We need to get out of here," Evergreen urged, his eyes wide with alarm. The once quiet museum now throbbed with an unsettling energy, the air thick with a sense of impending chaos. The very atmosphere seemed to crackle with magic, the hairs on their arms standing on end as the power in the room grew more palpable. It was as if the spirits of Mary Hollow's past were awakening, their presence filling the space with an unseen but tangible force that pressed against them from all sides. They raced towards the exit, the artifacts in hot pursuit. The wreath's tendrils snaked out to grab at their heels, while the nutcracker's footsteps clattered menacingly behind them like the drums of an ancient battle, each step echoing ominously through the museum. Holly flung open the heavy wooden door, and they spilled out onto the street, slamming it shut behind them with a resounding thud that echoed through the crisp winter air. The sound reverberated like a warning bell through the once peaceful town, but the chaos had only just begun. Mary Hollow was in disarray, a kaleidoscope of wild, unchecked magic that seemed to warp the very fabric of the town. Strings of lights danced through the air like sentient serpents, their colors clashing and flickering in a dizzying display that cast eerie, shifting shadows on the snow-covered streets. It was as if the town itself was caught in a fever dream, its familiar charm twisted into something dark and unsettling. Snowmen marched in formation, their stick arms raised in eerie unison, their coal-button eyes glowing with an uncanny light, as if possessed by some unseen force. Their frozen forms were animated by a strange, unnatural life that made them move with a jerky, puppet-like motion. A massive gingerbread house loomed over the town square, its sugary scent cloying and overwhelming. Its walls dripped with icing that seemed to move and shift like something alive, the candy decorations twisting into grotesque shapes, as if the sweet treats were corrupted by the chaotic magic that now surged through the town. The town's once peaceful atmosphere was shattered, replaced by a palpable sense of unease and bewilderment. The air filled with the cries of confused residents and the distant, haunting melody of the music box, its song now a chilling soundtrack to the chaos that reigned. The sweet notes had turned discordant, echoing through the streets like a dark lullaby that sent shivers down their spines. Holly grasped the tradition shard tightly, its heat a sharp contrast to the turmoil surrounding them. The shard throbbed softly in her palm, as if answering the chaos with a steadying rhythm. She exchanged a resolute glance with Jack and Evergreen, her green eyes mirroring the disturbing luminosity of the gingerbread house. Their expressions were marked with determination, a silent agreement passing between them. Despite the chilling display and the town's plunge into disarray, they understood their task was far from complete. There was still much to accomplish, and Holly was resolved to finish it, regardless of the ominous powers that blocked their path.